Well, I thought about writing a sophisticated and flowery opening for today, and then after rereading it, I said, fuck it. Let's get straight to the point. Why do some people openly share their technical knowledge and designs in art while others are more defensive, guarding that knowledge like a coveted trade secret? The answer to this question is a complex, layered, and chronological story about how the arts have changed over time. Let's hurt some feelings today. Well, hello and welcome back to your favorite podcast. This is Woodworking is Bullshit. I'm your host, Paul Jasper of Copper Pig Woodworking, scientist by day, woodworker by night. And of course, in the chair, my boy, Eric Curtis, fine furniture maker and content creator.
¿Cómo estás, bitches?
And everybody's favorite, my favorite, Eric's favorite, Jet's favorite, Keith, everyone's favorite, Johnson.
Wow. Is that what the J stands for?
And with us today for this special episode is Jet Tamburri, who happens to be Keith's brother-in-law. Jet is an accomplished tattoo artist from Philly, and he has...
Go birds.
Go birds.
and Jet has some definite experience on this topic of territorialism and defensiveness in the arts. Jet, welcome to the show today.
How's it going, fellas?
Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
So, this topic is something, you know, we've kind of talked about for some time. We've talked about territorialism in terms of copying. That was our very first episode of the podcast ever, was copying. But I think it's a lot bigger than that, because that's only one part of this much larger conversation, which is like, how open are you? Do you share, or is it more like a trade secret and you guard it? And I think, you know, talking with Eric before the episode, it became clear to me that historically, at least, I think if you think about medieval guilds and like, you know, experts, you know, in painting and the various maker craft, it has always been a closely guarded secret. Those guilds were not advertising how they did their shit on every street corner. So I'd like to just start, Eric. You know, you seem to resonate very deeply with that idea that for so long with humans and art, it's always been a closely guarded secret how to do the thing.
Well, I mean, I think as soon as money becomes involved, then people become defensive about the things they know and what they share. And what's interesting about the moment we live in, again, we were talking about this kind of on the pre-call. We're in a unique moment where that's flipping on its head. And I don't think it's necessarily started with the internet and with YouTube, but it's become much more profitable since the advent of YouTube, that sharing your knowledge is the income rather than the making of the thing. So, yeah, I mean, the history of woodworking is flooded with people who, when other crafts folk would come into the shop, would throw blankets over the pieces that they were making so that they couldn't see the piece in progress and dissect how they got to the end goal. Like that's the tradition we've come from. And now, you know, we live in an age where you can Google just about anything and find out how it's done.
Yeah, the information age has definitely flipped things on its head. So Jet, you know, you definitely have a unique experience from, I think, anyone. We've never had anyone tattoo on the show ever, right, Eric?
No.
Jet, welcome. You're our first tattoo artist ever. So Jet, tell us a little bit about, tell us a little bit about you, how you got into tattooing, and like a little bit of your experience, and then tell us what you see about territorialism in the tattoo world.
So I was kind of lucky when I started. I started in the mid to late 90s. I grew up in Philadelphia and was heavily involved in graffiti. So I was out there painting walls, and, you know, I had a bunch of friends that got arrested. So I said to myself, I'm not going to jail or getting a fine heavily for this shit. So what I did was I started looking around, and I saw a bunch of the little corner store bodegas, which I'm sure you see still.
Oh, yeah.
That have tons of shit all over them. So I said, you know what? Let me go ask this guy if he'll let me paint his wall. So I went, painted a wall. He let me paint a whole side of his place. And that turned into different permit walls all throughout the city. And I had two Spanish twins walk up to me and ask me to paint their tattoo shop. So while painting that, they asked me if I ever wanted to learn. Quickly realized that they were just trying to have people working there to pay their dad back who fronted the money for their shop. So I kind of got in pretty easily. But back then it was, Philadelphia was predominantly bikers, like all biker run. So it was kind of crazy, which I did end up working for and was involved in a lot of that shit. And that's why I ended up in Vermont, just to clear my head. And I looked in the mirror one day and said, I'm going to end up in jail or in prison. I rode bikes and I rode around with these guys, but I wasn't trying to patch in. I had no interest in that shit. So. But my friends did. And it was just crazy. So
both short. Eric and I are smiling like Cheshire cats, wondering like what the hell's going on.
I'm also thinking about like walking around my neighborhood and between my house and the shop, we've got like just the hordes of people. Like it's usually after sunset in the summer that just like, the biker gangs that roll through. Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
I can name them all.
I was about to say, like, how many of my boys do you know rolling down Aramingo?
I know a lot of them. Like I said, some of them aren't here anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
There's instances where people got clipped off, and that's why I was like,
gotta get out the game.
I wasn't in the game. I was in the game, but not in the game.
You were game adjacent.
Yeah, I didn't have the belt and the vest, but I was pretty goddamn close,
Yeah, the underwear. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and so how long did you do tattooing there for? Has it been straight through ever since?
Oh yeah, so like obviously the beginning years it was, am I going to be able to do this? I did some other things, work with some friends, do some different, but I'd say probably around 2002-3 is when it was just it's been nonstop from there. So I've seen a bunch of different stuff. Like you said, back then people didn't want to teach you stuff. But
let's start there. I'm curious about that. So you're trying to break into tattooing in the early 90s, mid 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And you start working at this shop. Somebody there took you under their wing, showed you kind of the basics of the trade.
Sure.
And then you're trying to I don't know enough about the field of tattooing to understand how the development of kind of your voice, for lack of a better way to phrase it, develops. So at that point, are you tattooing in a bunch of different traditions? Are you doing American traditional? Are you doing like put me in that headspace where you are in the early 90s? What type of shit are you tattooing and what type of clientele are you having?
So the first shop, the two Spanish brothers, that was more of like a gangster type shop. I was doing like old English letters, like people that were, so I had free range of skin because they're people getting out of prison. They didn't care. This guy's coming up and, hey, you want to get a free tattoo? They didn't give a shit.
Oh, so you're doing it for free.
So at first when you're an apprentice, I was doing just free tattoos to learn, but that's what you need when you start out. Picture what you guys do, right? If you had a shit ton of wood and you could just burn it up and ruin all the wood you'd figure it out. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But when you don't have skin to work on, you can't really figure it out. It's art, but it's a different medium. It's not like a brush. It's a moving canvas. It's bleeding on you. You bleed. You're like, you know what I'm saying? So it's having a ton of people to work on helps you in the early stages. But back then it was tribal shit on the wall. Oh, I like that one. You know what I mean? People just picked. Then, Batman was a thing and Ren and Stimpy was a thing. My buddy got...
Hold on. How many Ren and Stimpy tattoos have you done?
When I was 16, I went in, I got a little tribal thing that I drew up that was my graffiti name. And my buddy got, I think it was either Ren or Stimpy popping out of a hole on his back of his...
Fucking amazing. No notes. It's perfect.
No, it was just like, it was just crazy. But back then, it was kind of weird because back then, all these guys were just trying to have people working for them, right? So they didn't care. They were bringing people in. Then it hit like the tat boom, which we call it, in like the early 2000s, where it started to get more art and more, it started to get a lot different and more lucrative too. So that's when I think people started to kind of, they were kind of gatekeeping. Gatekeeping is what they call it, and ours is, trying to keep it from other people and shit like that. So it was a lot tougher.
What were they trying to keep specifically? Was it a technique? Was it a design? Like what?
I think if I had to guess, I think the fact that there were shops opening up all over the place, and they were trying to keep it closed so that people, because think about it, somebody comes in, you teach them everything you know, and they say, all right, fuck you. And they go down the street and open up a shop. Well, now you have a competitor, right?
Sure.
And that's where, there was people in Philadelphia that tried to, now actually, I don't know if it's still a thing because I haven't been there forever, but it got so bad with so many people moving there and opening up shops and tattooing that they put in you have to be an apprentice. So I would have to sign for you as my apprentice for 2 years, and then you would get your license. And that's how
gatekeeping. That's gatekeeping.
The tattoo artists banded together, like almost for lack of a better way to phrase it, like union. Oh, the city did.
Yeah, the city of Philadelphia did. So if you're familiar with, I don't want to say names, but the two main people in Philadelphia, one of them, he went to the city and he put in these laws that you weren't able to have a tattoo shop within 300 feet or 500 feet of a church or a school, or and then you had to, same thing. You had to prove that you were tattooing before 2000, or you had to be an apprentice of somebody, and you had to work in their shop with them, under them for 2 years. So that kind of like, instead of signing like a non-compete type of thing. So, but yeah, it was crazy. It bit him in the ass, but yeah.
I just came back. Yeah. So that whole idea of apprenticeship, I just came back from Europe, and everyone who knew I was like the people who I mentioned I was a woodworker, they were always quick to tell me. Yeah, they were quick to tell me, like, you have to go through a rigorous, like, 4-year multi-step process to become a quote unquote woodworker, and only woodworkers could do work on like commercial establishments. And if you saw, like, there was a pergola, we were sitting outside in Switzerland, and there was this random ass pergola, right? Just at some random ass restaurant. And I tell you, it was so exquisitely done. Every corner was chamfered. Everything was perfect. I thought maybe Keith did it.
There was no brass inlaid in there.
It didn't take 100 years to build.
No, but it seems like they're almost like rolling back, Jet, to like the apprenticeship guild journeyman,
I was going to say the
mentality.
way he was describing it sounded very guild mentality.
Oh, yeah. People still, but now, like, okay. And the other thing too is, here's the other thing. In order to buy supplies, you had to work and prove that you worked at a tattoo shop. You just couldn't buy supplies anywhere. Nowadays, you can buy them on Amazon. So you guys, all three, could go on Amazon, buy machines, and be tattooing each other.
Yeah.
Keith could be tattooing the rest of your sleeve if you wanted to.
Woo! That sounded like an invitation, Jet.
only if it's Ren and Stimpy related, though.
Yeah. Keith, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so that shit has changed within, like, I don't know, probably, it just, I don't know. A lot of that shit was coming over from China, and they just said, screw this shit. So they started selling it. You could just, because even like the companies that were buying it, you could go online, but you had to prove that you were a tattoo artist.
All right. So there was gatekeeping in terms of like apprenticeship now. The boom brought with it apprenticeship gatekeeping and materials gatekeeping. Yeah.
Well, yes, it was trying to control, like, for instance, Florida, Arizona, same thing. There's no health regulations there.
Well, so, sure. Like, you can snort bath salts. Like, you're doing just fine in Florida.
In Philadelphia and here in Arizona, we have to have the health department come in and inspect us. Inspect us. You know what I'm saying? You can tattoo wherever the hell you want, but you can't. You can't have a license or work in a shop or something. And it's illegal. So if you're tattooing out of your house, you can get in trouble. I don't know. Slap on the wrist. I don't really know what they'll do. But
Right,
it's
and
funny
then-
what you were
Go
talking
ahead.
about when you said when you were overseas, that you have to have a whole, like, is that just a work on, can you just work out of your house and stuff like that? Or is that like actual career type stuff?
I think
You can't do it
like,
at all.
No, I think you have to go to school and have a proper like apprenticeship with a master for a certain number of years, and then you're allowed to work. And then I think there's some more regulate. Eric, you probably know more about this.
Yeah, you're not allowed to sell furniture as an individual unless you are licensed in
Okay, that makes
most
sense.
Europe. I don't know about the whole of Europe, but most will say Germanic culture countries. So like you have to basically go through an apprenticeship, become a master woodworker, then get your licensure, and then and only then are you allowed to sell like a fucking table. So like over
They
here,
probably saw Shallow Hal, and the fucking seat blew out and shit like that. Because that's the same thing with welding, right? You could be a welder. I've got a welder in my garage.
That's the first Shallow Hal reference on this podcast. That's fucking what a cut! What a cut!
I mean, like I said, I've got a welder. I can weld shit together. I fix my exhaust, but can I go weld structures together where people are going to be like at risk of getting hurt and shit like that? No.
Well, that's the difference between like a commercial license and just selling something to an individual, right? Over here. So like anybody can build a table and then sell it on Etsy. And then if it falls apart, they run the risk of potentially getting sued, which is why we have LLCs and S corps and everything else. Over there, I don't know what like the kind of lawsuit situation is, but you are not allowed to put a table up for sale, insofar as I understand it, and obviously I could be wrong, unless you have gone through the proper training.
So, Jet, what happened? So I understand like the boom occurred, some gatekeeping was put in place to kind of control the proliferation of unchecked. And then like, what happened since then? Like where are we today and how did we get there?
So today we are in a screw this place. I've got clientele and I'm just going to go open up a private studio. That's where we're at today. And because people, all they care about is money, and why do I have to give this person part of my percentages? I just want all my money to myself, so I'm going to go into a private studio. And that's fine. If you built yourself and you have a great clientele and all that, that's great. The problem is that if you bring somebody in as an apprentice, right? Why, if I've been tattooing since 97, over 25 years, why would I give all my knowledge to somebody and then send them out the door? So for me, if somebody says apprentice, I like look around like, because I don't, right now I don't own a shop, so I don't have a spot for them. Number one. Number two, even if I did, you have two options. Option one is you sign a non-compete that you're going to stay there with me for 5 years, or you're going to give me a large sum of money, where if you decide in a year that you're gone, well, that's fine. You just paid me because I just gave you something and a career that you could take anywhere overseas, anywhere in the US.
Wow.
Anywhere.
So this is really interesting. Can we talk more about like the structure that's set up for an apprentice? Because you effectively what you said is like you bring in an apprentice or an employee or whoever it is, and you own a shop, and that person pays you a cut of their, somebody pays $1,000 for a tat. And
normally when
they
you
give
come
you
in,
a cut
it's
of
50-50.
that.
Yeah.
It's 50-50.
Well, if you come in right off the bat, right? Normally how this is how apprenticeships, this is how it normally works, right? You come in and I start teaching you, okay? You don't make shit. You don't touch a machine. You don't do shit. You work at the shop in return for me teaching you how to work on stuff. You're checking things out. You're learning how the machines work. You're learning everything in here. Same thing with you guys. You're learning all these machines, how to do this, how to do that. You're
but this is why it's interesting, because this system doesn't exist in our world anymore. This is why I want to hear you talk about it.
Yeah, and I mean, so in my world, that's normally what you do, right? So, and that's how it was growing up. in all the shops. You came in, the apprentice worked the front. He talked to the clients. He set everything up. He even set up the machines. He broke them down. He was basically a shop bitch. He did all the cleaning. He did all that stuff. And then once he was ready to start tattooing, maybe 2 years, whatever, a year, 2 years.
Wow.
Oh yeah, depending on what it was. Then they would start to tattoo. They would thank you. They would start working on smaller things. And yes, it was normally like a 50-50 split. We cover the supplies, all that stuff, and then you start tattooing, but you're making money. Most of these guys had other jobs. They would come in when they could, or they slept on couches. They fucking made it work because they wanted to be in the industry.
Sure.
But now we had an apprentice one time at the shop, and it was like a month, and they're like, when am I going to start tattooing? I'm like, motherfucker, never. With that attitude, you're not going to start tattooing. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy. And now, like I said, everything's easily accessible. You can order shit from anywhere. I mean, I've got a story. I don't know how graphic I can go on this bitch, but
yeah, let's go.
Please go for it.
This fucking guy, this is how crazy this shit is. This guy comes in and he's got like this weird t-shirt, shorts. I'm like, this motherfucker's got bodies in his basement, right? I just called it out. He was fucking crazy. So sure enough, he comes in for this tattoo. He met this Russian chick overseas and she liked the color red. And he wanted to get a scorpion on his junk and the tail going down onto his dick. So I just was like, yo, you guys can have that shit. I fucking leave. And that goes in one ear, out the other. I totally forget about it. I come back in and I'm hearing like the curtains are closed. I'm not paying attention. I hear all this moaning. I'm like, is that fucking front desk girl watching porn? What the fuck is going on? This bitch, you know, it's all rubber. You got to keep that thing hard to try and tattoo it. Anyway, they got through part of it. That's not the best part. The girl who did it only got the outline done. His next appointment, she had to fly out of town. So he got bent out of shape and was all fucking pissed off because I guess Shlavanka was coming to town and he wanted that shit done. So he comes in finally for his appointment and she told me that it was all choppy and somebody tried to fucking fill it in. She asked him, his cousin ordered a machine on Amazon and tried to fill it in for him. So that's how accessible these fucking our supplies are these days. Psychopaths can have their cousins fill in their dick tattoos and shit.
Eric. That's the t-shirt we're making from this episode right there.
Eric, when Jet suggested we tattoo each other.
There you go. There you
Not
go.
what he meant.
Just the root, though. Just the root.
Keith, I have some ideas for us, big guy.
Where are we going to put the tattoo of Jerry and Lola?
Okay. Well, Jet, first of all, the part you said about the younger generation being like, I've been here a month, what the fuck, right? That totally jives with like the entitlement of the younger generations. They are they are not used to the long wait time and the long, they want a seat at the table because mommy and daddy told me I'm special my whole life and I'm ready. I want a seat at the table now. I don't think they're, in general, and I'm generalizing, I'm sure there's plenty of great young people out there who want to work hard for a long period of time, but that jives with what I've noticed about it.
I haven't met them. at all. Everybody just wants it now. I mean, it's instant gratification. It's fucking stupid.
So,
you got to put the time in.
So then where are we today in terms of like the tattoo world? Are we like, is the apprentice system dead or is it shifted significantly?
I mean, there's people that still take apprentices. I'll see them online. People asking, still, looking for one, but it's very rare. I mean, I think people have gotten such a bad taste in their mouth and there's no respect anymore. People don't respect the industry. They don't respect the people that are doing it. I mean, if somebody's willing to teach you, you would think that you would want to stay with that person because they've given you, the opportunity to work in their shop, so you want to stay with them, right? Nah, they're just fuck you, I'm out, So I think it's just,
if somebody wants to get into tattooing now, how do they go about doing that? Is it like is the path of least resistance? And I'm not I'm not making a defense for this. Yeah, but like this is genuinely what I'm wondering. Is the path of least resistance then, given the way that you just framed that, to order a machine off of Amazon and start tattooing your friends?
It's funny you say that, because that is the flip side of the coin, right? The girl at the coffee shop that I go to has asked me, hey, asked me about an apprenticeship and asked me how to get into one. Number one, I took my coffee and laughed. I was like, good luck. But then I kind of felt bad, and I talked to her. She showed me her artwork and everything. And I literally told her, I said, listen, you have two options. Option one is go around and ask everybody if somebody will take somebody in. I said, option two is buy a machine and just start scratching on your boyfriend or whoever else is going to let you, because that's pretty much the only way to do it. If nobody, because who am I to say that you can't become a tattoo artist,
Sure.
Excuse me. I'm not going to teach you, because I don't trust anybody with that shit. And I'm trying to keep myself busy, and the industry is so crazy.
Let me ask you right there, because you said I don't trust anybody with my shit. What does that really mean? Can you decode that for me?
So, like I said, I've been doing it forever. I've seen it all. I've done it all. I've tattooed. I've been through every fad, every new machine, everything.
Dick Scorpion is all you have to tell me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've seen it all. I know all. I feel like, you're always learning. You're always seeing new tricks. Sometimes there's new tricks. Some shit I'm like, yeah, that's gonna look like dog shit. You know what I mean? But all this fine line micro tattoos, dog shit. They're all gonna be blobs on people's skins. You know what I mean? But and I talk to people that do that stuff, and it's funny. They say the picture's not for you; it's for the people that are looking at it. So basically, give them some shit that's going to look like crap in 5 years, and who cares? Take the picture, because then you're going to get more people that want to get that shit. When it's like, I'm going to give you straight up that's going to turn into a blob of shit, And most of my clients are like, thank you. Some of them fight me and say, no, I want this big, But yeah, it's just. I've watched people, I've talked to people, and I've seen the people that have come into shops try and learn some shit, think they've got it figured. We have it in our own spot. People think that they've got it figured out after a few years, and they're just going to go off and do their own thing. And it's, it's not the way, you know what I mean?
Well, that would be like the woodworkers who don't really understand the laws of proper joinery. Eric, I see you nodding. Expansion, contraction,
wood movement,
and wood movement. And then they build tables, and the tables break, or they build cabinets, and the cabinets break themselves apart because they didn't understand the finer points of joinery. Eric and Keith, Jet was like, "Yeah, I'm not taking apprentices. That's not for me. It holds no value. There's value there. I don't mean no, but for Jet, where he is, it doesn't make sense for him." Eric and Keith, how do you feel about taking apprentices?
I would not, and there's a reason. There's a reason for that. Like, Eric is a Juilliard trained furniture maker from the Center of Furniture Craftsmanship in Maine. Taught Juilliard. The right ways to do things. I am self-taught. Like, I can get from A to B, but it's not always a straight line. And I don't always know the correct way. I can always figure out a way to get there.
There's no fucking correct way, buddy. Get over that.
Sometimes there is. There's a better way or an easier way, and sometimes I'm like, my videos, I'm like, this should work, but I don't know. It happened to you, right? You had an inexplicable wood movement issue on one of your tables, right? The thing just split, broke. Like, you have no idea why. So sometimes you can build something that defies the laws of furniture making and wood movement. And you're like, whoa, it worked. Cool. And then the next time you do it, it doesn't work. The best thing you can do is to set yourself up for success is do things the right way, figuring out movement, wood movement, this way, that way. But to take on and I am also being self-taught, like, safety is generally not my first concern. Larissa will tell you that, like, push sticks, I think push sticks are firewood. Like, I don't want to use a push stick. My thumb and forefinger, those are my push sticks. And I used a push stick last night, and it got me into trouble. I almost got kicked back because I was using a push stick. because it's slipping on the wood, whereas my finger does not. And I can't see the saw blade because the damn push stick is in the way. So I can't see that the wood is coming away from the fence. So, in a lot of my videos, I will use a push stick just for YouTube. And if I remove a guard, I'll say guard has been removed for for visible purposes or whatever. Because the safety police are out in numbers on YouTube. They love just ripping you apart for doing things unsafely.
Really?
Like free handing on the table
That's
saw.
crazy.
That's how I was taught to scribe trim. There's nothing unsafe. It's unsafe if you do it wrong, but there's a right way to freehand on the table saw.
Sure is.
That's why when people ask, "Hey, I'd love to come over and you teach me," I'm like, not really. Like, I just don't like, here, buy this book by Fine
KJ,
Woodworking.
we can listen, buddy. We can break down your emotional well-being off the call, but I think we need to have a conversation about this because more than 98% of people. Okay,
I appreciate.
You've built a lot of brilliant things, and I don't give out compliments as far as design and craftsmanship like willy-nilly. Right. You know what the fuck you're doing. What I do think this is an issue of is being self-taught in the age of YouTube. There's what I can tell you definitively right now is there is no one right way to do anything. There are faster and slower ways. There are more accurate and less accurate ways. There are ways to get shit done, and there are ways to get shit done that will last, an extra 50 years or 100 years in the grand scheme of things. But Sam Maloof, who we all regard as one of the great woodworkers of the 20th century. Excuse me.
Great designers, anyway.
Well, I mean, but he's often held up as like one of the fathers of the studio craft movement. He was self-taught. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing. You ever see that asshole walk on, like, use a bandsaw? Like Jesus fucking Christ! Like
his hands were close.
He had to, like, how many times he almost cut his fingers off? But
don't
he
they have
also,
like stops? Like,
no, that's well, A, that didn't exist in his time, and B, that's on the table saw. But that's like that. He openly admitted the fact that he only knew the way to do it that he invented. And if you read any woodworking book by anybody who's like actually knew what they were doing, was a lifelong teacher, like Tagfried is a good example. He's got the what is it, the Working Wood series or something of that nature. Every single technique in those books has multiple ways to do it. So there's no one way to do it. But anyway, in regards to taking on an apprentice, I think the obligation that a teacher has to a student is twofold. Number one, to teach them what the teacher knows, right? Not to teach them everything, but simply to teach them what they know. And to assess. Now, this is coming from my background as a school teacher, not as somebody running a business with an apprentice, but to assess what the student is good at and give them more of that to accentuate their skill set, right? So that they can kind of follow their tools and become a master in whatever category that they would best fit. If I'm running a business, that shifts slightly because I have to consider the business first and the apprentice as an employee. The apprenticeship model doesn't usually work in woodworking anymore because all of that information is accessible, right? Like you can just Google it, you can just YouTube it, and it's there. And now it's kind of in this, I think maybe this kind of sucks, but it's kind of incumbent upon you to come to an employer having already gone through part of the apprenticeship process, because all of that information is there for you to learn. If you want to learn the basics of wood movement, it's on YouTube. If you want to learn how to use a table saw, it's on YouTube. If you want to learn how to cut a dovetail, fucking Google it. Like, that's on you. Come to me after you've done that, and then I can start to kind of get you at that late stage apprentice, early stage journeyman, and we can have a conversation about, like, how do you run a business? How do you interact with clients? How do you build shit that's going to, it's no longer kitchen cabinets. It's now standalone furniture that's going to last somewhere between 100 and 500 years. I think that's where I would consider taking on a quote apprentice, but that's not an apprentice anymore. So it's like, that's just an employee at that point.
But the problem with hiring someone as an apprentice who has learned things from YouTube is who knows who they've been watching. There are plenty of charlatans out there who,
My favorite word.
use Paul's word, who are doing things wrong. How they, I mean, there is a wrong way to do. So I know I mentioned safety, but like pushing, running your hand right over the blade of a jointer, or like there's certain places to put hands. And if you come in with like thinking, oh, you know how to use a table saw? Cool, go ahead. And then you hear the friggin' saw stop brake go. Like, what happened? Oh,
that's a fair point, but I don't think that's any different from, let's call 100 years ago. Somebody spends their apprenticeship with fucking, Jack Dickey out here, and he like doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Who fucking knows? That's not the important part. Old man Dickey's boy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Old Daddy Greenbacks.
He teaches old Daddy Greenbacks. He doesn't teach this young person proper technique on anything. He's just trying to get shit out the door. And then this guy comes to you and he's like, well, I just did a 5-year apprenticeship. And he comes into your shop and he's like, you don't know dick about anything, So I don't think that's any different. There's no quality control in apprenticeships either, because that's just based on who you got lucky enough to get hired by.
All right. So Jet, it doesn't make sense for you based on where you are in your career. Keith, you don't feel like you have the formal education or the safety or just even want that complexity.
Or the time. I can't even build something on my own in a time. Okay. Never mind having someone look over my shoulder. Here's how to build something real. It takes 6 months. It should take you 2 weeks.
All right. And Eric wants an apprentice that's already fully trained.
But he made a good point. I mean, he made a good point. I mean, there's tons of tattoo how-tos online too. Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of videos on there. So a lot of people just look at that shit and just the difference between
practice on. Do they make?
Well, that's a difference.
Prosthetic. Do they make prosthetic arms?
They actually do. They're called pound of flesh. And it's like you could get
I've seen that on a website or three.
Yes, you have.
On my OnlyFans.
That's for the after show.
But yeah, they actually make like a hand and an arm from like here up, like, and you can tattoo it and shit. You could
but
just
is it like an
Etch
a sketch where you can shake it and it removes it and you can start
over?
No. You have to
that's
keep
the whole
buying
problem.
new ones.
Exactly. You do, and it's the same thing. I mean,
are those cost prohibitive to some extent?
They do have thin swatches that are like 4x6. And I told people to put it around a thing of paper towels and tape it around it so that you can actually practice on that. Because obviously skin is not flat, right? So just wrap it around that and tattoo it and throw it away.
What I'm wondering is like, I guess part of the reason why I said what I said to maybe justify what I was saying and not sound so much like an asshole is like... A lot of but a lot of
fish
people.
Town. It's getting to you.
Yeah.
It's the water.
Listen,
it's
I was an
water.
asshole long before I lived in Fish Town.
Go birds.
Go birds. We are in a moment where people can Google woodworking. And they see, like, it becomes romanticized. And one way to distinguish the person who comes into the shop and says, I want to be a woodworker because I Googled it on Tuesday and it looks sexy, versus the person who's actually like who I was at 20, who was like, this is what I'm going to do with my life, is how much have you invested in the thing before you come to me? How hard are you trying to learn? How many of your resources are you willing to expel to like have some base level of understanding before you're trying to work in my shop? And I wonder if that's the same in tattooing, of like, how many people are just like, it'd be cool if I learned how to tattoo, and then they want to start an apprenticeship, versus how many people, like, how do you distinguish those people who are like, 1000%, this is what I'm going to do with my life?
Well, most people, they're like, yeah, I want a tattoo and this looks cool. This is what I want to do. But they're trying to get into the industry. There's a ton of people that I know that are in your world that are just like, I want to make small shit in my garage and just, just for fun, just to say I made this like cutting board or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a bunch of guys that I know around here. Like, yeah, look, I made these cutting boards. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But like, it just seems like the people that are trying to get into my shit are like, yeah, they're trying to like, open shops and.
I see. So one's primarily an industry, and the other has a big hobby component to it.
Yeah, I don't know any hobby tattoo artists.
That's a great distinction. Jet, that is a huge distinction between our two fields. Wow.
That's what I was wondering is like how much of that investment is in somebody who's just going to be like, oh, okay, that was fun for a summer. And now I'm gone.
Eric, I think
Reese Bobby, Ricky Bobby's dad, he's a semi-professional race car driver and an amateur tattoo artist. And that's the only hobby tattoo artist I ever know.
So Eric, that actually describes a big part of my confusion coming into today, because I was thinking like, well, we have this Instagram community, right?
I'm going to step out here for 2 seconds.
Yeah. So we have this Instagram community, right? And it's sort of commonplace to share your knowledge, right? In this particular Instagram bubble, it's like sharing is caring, right? We help each other. We tell people like what tools we use and how to do things. And it's a very open community. And that extends to your both of your livelihoods, right? Is like YouTube. Your YouTubes are educational YouTubes. You show people how to do Eric, which finishes to use. Keith, you go painstakingly through every piece of every build and what you want to do and what problems you had and how you could have avoided it. And that is primarily eaten up by hobbyists.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say,
I think the overwhelming majority are hobbyists. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think pro woodworkers are watching my stuff.
Well, at least the people who leave the comments who are like, I've been a professional woodworker for 37 years and I Googled how to cut a dovetail on Tuesday at 1 p.m.
If you leave your resume, you're automatically out because no professional does that.
I would think out of all the people who leave comments on any of our media, we're talking about probably 90% plus hobbyists is my guess.
I think that's probably fair.
Okay,
yeah, certainly above 70%.
That's a very different idea than what Jet's talking about, where it's like there is no hobby world. This is all professional, all industrial, all maximum strength grade. You're like tattooing people's skin, not easily removed. This is a totally different distinction, and I totally missed this coming into today.
I mean, there's people. Go ahead.
Well, it's just, I guess that what I come away with is when we consider hobbies, sharing is caring. When we consider money earning professions, not hobbies.
The money's the crux of the argument, man.
It's a very different
As soon
world.
as your bottom line is effective, you become much more defensive over what you're willing to share with people.
Mm-hmm. And your age. And how old you are.
That's fair.
Well,
the older tattoo guys that I know are very, very, they can't stand that shit. They can't stand the showing people shit. They don't like any of that stuff.
Well, I've seen it cut both ways, Jet. I actually thought it was the opposite, because as people get older and, kind of grappling with their own mortality, they start to think, what good is it for me to die with all this information? I owe it to my field to start teaching the next generation some of what I know. So I've seen many older woodworkers actually pivot towards teaching as they.
I feel like this is a difference of field, though. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but how many professional tattooers get into the game being like, I'm going to live a long and fruitful life?
Eric, man, they're gonna choke the chicken by the time they're
50. The people in this industry they live hard and fast, most of them. Especially the older ones. They're lucky to be still walking around, They partied too much back in the day.
Yeah, but 57, they're on borrowed time,
Yeah, and I think that I don't know. It's just. Yeah, I mean, you don't see tattoo schools. I mean, if there's a tattoo school mentioned, oh my God.
There's
people
no tattoo schools?
Oh, no. People want to burn those down. That's like, you can't say that. Oh my God.
Okay. So this is an interesting thing. So maybe is born out of like just where the craft came from.
There's a girl around here who is a med spa who is like teaching people, but she's also bringing people in and teaching them like how to tattoo, how to use the machine, charging them a shit ton of money, and then sending them off into into the world, because it's all about money. She's getting like 10 grand or whatever she's getting. So, and she's not showing them techniques or how to do shit. All she's showing them how to do is use the machine, hold it, pull a line, whatever, and then she's just sending them down the road. So a lot of people I don't know how many younger people are like, oh, I got 10 grand to do that shit. You know, some.
Well, so I don't want to put you on the spot, but
yeah, go for it.
I'm wondering,
but I'm gonna.
I'm just genuinely curious. How much do you know about like the history of tattooing and how we came to this moment? Because like the woodworking tradition, there's always been schools or like guilds, you know, but like it's never been, to my understanding, and I have a very cursory understanding of the history of tattooing, it's never been formalized in the way of like guilds in schools and that kind of thing. So like, I guess I'm just wondering if that plays into it.
It's been taught to people by people, but not like where you can actually sit in a room with like 5 other chicks or guys and be like, okay, we're going to learn how to do this shit today. There's none of that. And there are some, but those people are like, they don't.
They're exercised from the community, right? Yeah, and it kind of goes against like the cultural norm of tattooing, whereas in woodworking, having a formal education is the cultural norm.
Yeah,
and I wonder if that stems out of the woodworking thing.
Yeah. I'm the outcast.
He's a bastard for sure. Yeah. That's
so. Jet, how many people have you taught how to tattoo? Would you say?
Oh my God, none. Oh well, I take that back. So I'll see people, like for instance, there's a girl that came into our studio. She was a nurse for 10 years, and then she started tattooing her husband and people in her kitchen just because she went through COVID as a nurse and hated it. And COVID like literally killed her and killed the nursing because she was ICU. She was just over. So she decided to reach out and become a tattoo artist, which is funny because they said, oh, we're going to hire this girl. I said, oh, really? Where did she work before? Oh, that doesn't matter. She's nice. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't give a fuck how nice she is. Where did she work before? Oh, yeah. Don't worry. She's better than everybody around here. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about where has this girl worked. And she just kept on like dodging it. And then come to find out she worked in her kitchen and she didn't work on anybody. So when she came into the shop, she really didn't have an apprenticeship. So she was just like doing stuff. And I'm like, whoa, pump the brakes. Like, you need to do things a little bit different. You need to start out small. So I don't know. That's not really. I guess I taught her some things, but I never really took anybody on as an apprentice.
Okay, who taught you?
Those 2 brothers in Philadelphia brought me in and said, "Hey, here's how you do it. This is a machine. Here you go." And then I had all those gangsters coming in and being like, "Yeah, here you go. Give me whatever you want."
I see. So you're largely self-taught.
Yes.
I see. Because I was wondering, if you were taught by someone, would you feel sort of a moral obligation at least to pass it along occasionally? Whereas if you're self-taught, you're like, hey, I fucking figured it out like this. You figure it out.
If I opened up another shop and somebody came to me, like for instance, that girl, if I had my own shop, I would lay it out on the line for her. This is how it's going to work. You can come work for me, but you have to sign this or you have to pay this. So if you want to, you don't have to pay. You just have to sign over your time, and I'll teach you how to do stuff. And then as long as you're going to stay here, you know what I mean? That's the thing. There's no respect anymore in the industry. Nobody respects anybody or the art or the craft or none of that stuff. You know what I mean?
I see.
Respect the person that gave you your, you know what I mean?
I see. So that's like territorialism, or sorry, that's like, sorry, I don't mean that territorialism. What I'm trying to say is that arrangement has to do with like the business side and making sure I get some value for giving you value. Like, fair is fair. Now, is there also territorialism or defensiveness about the designs itself? Like, that's my thing. How could you? Do you see that going on?
Well, that is a slippery slope. So everything is put out on the internet, right? If you have this crazy design that you have and you don't want anybody to see it, don't fucking put it online. Don't put it out there where people can see it, because then they're going to be like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to fucking do that. I mean, everybody does that shit. And nobody is just coming up with shit out of their head, right? Everything is drawn off of reference. So, you guys may see a table or legs or arms on a chair or whatever. You're like, oh, that's fucking kind of cool. I'm going to implement that into something that I'm doing. Same thing. Oh, look at that wolf over there. That wolf head's kind of cool. I'm going to use that goddamn thing. I mean, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just looking at reference and drawing and picking off a reference. And this day and age, everybody just does this. I want this. You know what I mean? They just come in and have it already picked out. They've already seen it. And it's bit me in the ass multiple times where they say, this is the best one. I love what you do. I love your work. But just do your thing. Do your thing. All right.
We get that.
I bet you do. I bet you do.
I love everything you do. Just make me something.
Yeah,
like Paul's dealing with that with a sushi board, right?
Make me a table, and it's like, I've seen all your work. Make me a table. And then you're like, cool, I'm going to make this fucking awesome table that I think is awesome. You make the table and you're like, look at this. And they're like, well, I don't know what the fuck that is. I actually wanted this. And you're like, well, where the fuck was that picture at? You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's the same thing. Like, it's bit me in the ass. I've tried to give them what I think is cool. And they're like, no, that's
Jeff,
that's
what
cool.
do you think is cool? I'm curious.
What do I think is cool? I love like just a bunch of black work, girl heads. I like doing like crazy reapers, all kinds of stuff like that. Black and gray, like more on the not traditional, more artsy, but like neo-traditional. I love doing girl heads. Love doing those. So, but traditional is fun. I mean, it's cool to do, bold lines, bold color. I mean, if I had to do the same thing every day, it would suck. So doing different stuff. I never understand why people pigeonhole themselves into just doing one thing unless they can't do other things.
I think that's a big part of it.
Or there's no one there to teach them how to do other things, Jet.
Wow.
Oh, man. I think I just touched on a bad sore subject.
I feel like Keith might be asking for an apprenticeship. I think that's what's happening.
Let's start with the scorpion.
I don't have any ink. He's like, all that white skin, a perfect canvas for me. He won't let me tattoo him.
That pale Nordic skin.
We're gonna start with a red scorpion, Keith. That's how we kick this party off.
I'm not doing it. I'll be like, good luck, Keith. I'll catch you later. I'll come back when you're done.
I bet the girl at the coffee shop will be happy to help me.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what's funny about our conversation already is I had these sort of 5 points. I asked Google Gemini so what are some of the philosophical key issues that have to do with territorialism and defensiveness in the arts? And the list it gave me, there's 5 main topics. Listen to this. Mm-hmm. The first topic was the legacy of the guild, that knowledge as a form of currency through medieval times, that it was always kept within the guild, to reveal the mystery of how you did something was a way to devalue your own economic worth.
It all hinges on the dollar, man.
Okay.
It all hinges on money.
Exactly. Back then, I mean, Christ, if you were a sword maker, you don't want to teach anybody else to be a sword maker, because they could like that person better than you, and now you're fucking
right.
down the street.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Right.
like the glass makers had a very like significantly powerful guild for the same fucking reasons
Yeah,
because
they
nobody
lived
could
2
do
years.
that shit. Yeah, well, there's that.
Super dangerous. Oh god, they needed to teach people because that shit is fucking
Right, yeah.
dangerous.
I mean, not that
They're-
different from some tattoo artists, Jet.
Right.
This is fair. This is fair.
Live
This is
fast,
fair.
die hard, right?
Yeah,
Okay. And
yeah.
so, but in modern times, the legacy of the guild, like I see it, Jet, in your non-hobbyist world, but in our hobbyist world, it's been replaced by the information age, where
Mhm.
information is free and plentiful. Case in point, Eric and Keith, who run huge channels
Yeah, we're
giving
fucking
free
harlequins,
information.
yeah.
Right? Okay. All right. The second point is it said it was about the conflict of small differences, meaning like the closer two fields are or territories are to each other, the more there's a little bit of infighting. Like if two fields are super far apart, you're not competing for the same turf, basically.
Mhm.
But the closer you get together, meaning like two people in the same field or two people in the same, who are both table makers, the more the territorialism evolves. Like, because you might take so proximity. This is a point of proximity. The further people are away, the easier they can get along. The closer they are to doing the same thing, the more trouble
Well, and
brews.
I assume that extends like creative proximity, but also physical proximity, right? Like,
Yes, both, right?
Yeah,
Use of market
like
share, sure.
Jet's worry about finding clients in North Carolina. Like if he has a buddy in Seattle who's
That's right.
tattooing, he's like, I don't.
Right.
The more
We're not
you
competing.
succeed, the better. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
The third.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Jet. Yeah, go ahead.
So it's funny because like those two guys, they have those big channels, right? But all those people that are watching that contribute to those channels, right? If they didn't have all those people watching it and looking and trying to do that shit, they wouldn't be so successful. Same thing with us. They can look and try and learn. Just because you pick up a machine or you can draw doesn't mean that you can tattoo. So even though
we're gonna dissect that.
even though they're showing people how, like, for instance, I clicked on one of Keith's things today because he sent me a link and I was like, oh, YouTube. And I just fucking clicked it. That crazy bench shelf thing. I was looking at that thing being like, what in the fucking spaceship fucking thing was that with all the holes and I was like, wait, is that the like cabinet thing? No, that's the fucking jig just to bend the wood. I'm like, oh, there's the wood that he's putting through the planer. I'm like, holy shit.
Oh my
Like-
God, Jet, I love you.
So that's what I'm saying. Like most people, they don't even have the know-how. B, I was like, how many fucking tools is this guy going to use to build this goddamn fucking thing? So there's like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of tools that you need to do a lot of that shit, which most people don't have. You know what I mean?
Okay, Paul. Do any of your other points have to do with handmade versus mass produced? Because I don't want to step
the
on
next
it.
one.
Okay,
Yes,
all right.
the next one.
Oh, okay.
The
Sorry, I
third
didn't mean
point.
to go.
The third point is the gift versus the market is what it put it, and it's like thinking about a gift economy, like small scale, one at a time, maybe not a lot of money's involved, the sweet sentimentality of giving gifts. But you could also versus the market, the mass production, the big time, those are very different things, and those carry with them. One carries a defensiveness and one carries sort of an open heart lightness. Now, the gift, Eric, could be pivoted towards like small batch handmade goods. I think there's not a huge market there. I think when they say the market, I think they're talking mass production.
Yeah, I think they are. I guess I was thinking of it more in like a scalability way. So like a table in this way, like that's the market, right? Like everybody needs a dining room table. A tattoo, in Jet, correct me if I'm wrong, can't be mass produced, right? Like there's nothing
Iron on or rub
that's
on.
well, hold on, an iron on tattoo?
My bad.
What
Yeah.
the fuck are you doing to your body?
Hey, I'm
buddy?
hardcore.
but like it's still hand done one at a time, right? Like it's somebody drawing on your body. and so I wonder if maybe that's where part of the defensiveness is just like what you do with your hands is your work versus, I don't know, like if it's produced at scale, you're copying an idea versus showing somebody a craft. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, so if you're saying mass produce, right? So you guys, if you're doing like small things, you're going to mass produce, I don't know, I'm going to go real tiny, like keychains or some shit. You make 20 keychains, right? And you're going to sell them. Well, you made all 20 of those. Well, if we do a flash day where you're picking off of a sheet and 10 people pick that same little goddamn thing, I do it 10 times. What the frick is the difference? Still mass.
Yes. Yeah. Well, so the idea is replicable, but the actual doing of the thing, like keychains is a good example. I could draw up a file for a CNC on a keychain, hit go, and the machine makes all 10 or all 20 or all 50 or 100, whatever.
They're not handmade.
They're not. I'm not bandsawing everyone out and rubbing them between my hands until they get nice and smooth. But like, so you have a flash sale.
I know. I'm just
like 100 people come in and they want whatever, a fucking scorpion tattoo, and
dicks everywhere.
Oh my god! Lay them on the table, boys. We're gonna go 10.
We're gonna need a smaller table.
but you still need to physically draw and tattoo every single one by hand, like even if the idea is the same.
Oh,
tell me more about that. This is where my lack of understanding of the trade comes in.
It's a stencil, so basically it's already drawn out. It could be printed off, and all I do is run it through the machine, take the stencil, put it on your skin, and tattoo it.
Yeah, but you have to
you still have to do it by hand.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Mine is handmade. Yours is CNC'd.
Right. And so, like, I think that is a difference that's important to know.
I guess. Yeah.
No, you disagree? Push back on me.
No, no, it's fine. I mean, I just I'm just like, God, I got to do 12 of these stupid things. Well, but then again, hey, give me the money. I'm fine with it, right? I guess it comes down to the money.
Well, I think Eric's thinking about scalability, right? When it's hand done by a human poking needles into your skin, there is no scalability other than more people and more time. Whereas with woodworking, you could buy an army of CNCs and scale up,
Well, with the tattoos, I mean, you're going to get faster by the 10th one, right? So you're going to make more money on that 10th one because it took you, 2 minutes versus the 3 minutes of the first one. But it's still like, and overall, it's compared to woodworking. It's not
like
even
the
close.
difference between me CNCing out 10 keychains versus 1,000 is a difference of like a handful of minutes versus by the 1,000th time he tattoos a scorpion on somebody's dick, he's going to be 10% faster.
Well, not to mention, you can be doing
tired
other
as
things.
Shit. Yeah, you're going to have 3 shots. You'll be 4 or 5 shots deep at the bar down the street while they're all printing out and shit.
No, because Eric will be at your shop getting a tattoo while the CNC's working. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Spending money while making money.
I lose out.
So the fourth and fifth point is the amateurization of expertise. Jet, you talked about this. You hit this. You're like, everyone thinks they can tattoo now. They just buy the tattoo gun off Amazon, watch a couple YouTube videos, and now they think they know how to do it. That is exactly the point number 4. And the last point was about originality, that if a master does something and you copy it, is it a new idea? This whole idea of like copying, basically, what's a copy versus what's an original work. So it's funny because we have touched on all 5 of these points organically in our conversation, which I think is very interesting.
So I have a question, Jet.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Paul. Where do you see, what is the future of tattooing? Meaning, are there going to be machines that can roll over your arm and it will laser engrave a tattoo on there? Or are there new tools coming out that can help you? Or is AI doing anything is that making your life more difficult where people come in with renderings that AI created? Like, I can't turn that into a tattoo. Like, there's no way.
Actually, the AI drawings depending on which ones they are, I love them.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. Like some of them are so perfect because you can tweak it, and somebody's like, "I like this drawing," and I'm like, "Yo, that thing's fucking perfect." And they're like, "Well, I did it on AI." I'm like, "For real?" So I started messing around with it and shit. I'm like, "Holy shit, this is pretty goddamn good." It depends on how crazy the image is, but some of them, like I know the ChatGPT ones, those are like, you know, you could just go in there and talk to it, and it prints out an image, and some of them are like, I hate to say it, but I wouldn't change a goddamn thing.
It's
really
like that in the
wouldn't.
furniture world right now.
But as far
becoming
as
more
like
and more
robots or something you could stick your arm in, I don't know. I'll be done. I'll be sitting with this guy being like, "Hey, you want to teach me how to woodwork? I'll come to Philly and shit." I'll be done when that shit happens because I'm just, no. By the time because you figure you're going to be reluctant just to be like, okay, I'm going to let this crazy robot do this shit to me. And I got to sit still. And what if it messes up? Like, no, I don't think that by that time, if that is a thing, I'll be long gone. So. But I think people actually like, it's crazy because, which touches on what he was talking about and what I said earlier about people not knowing how to tattoo, right? It's amazing to me how many people suck, but they're busy. It's because they are good at selling and making you feel like you're part of the part of the gang. You know what I mean? If you're like, hey, super, responsive and texting them and posting about them and thanking them online, and they're like, yeah, that dude's my fucking best friend. No, he's not. He's just fucking good he's selling you. He's a good car salesman, right? He can sell anything.
Listen, buddy, as somebody who's made a career off of sucking but being likable, that's,
Yeah, it's crazy. And I mean, and then on the flip side of all that, the amount of people that have no clue what a good tattoo looks like is amazing to me. Amazing. When I look at shit, I'm looking at different things, same way you guys probably are. I'm picking that thing apart from all different angles. People don't see that shit. They can't walk into, when you guys walk in and see a piece of furniture, you're like, oh, look at that. Oh God. All right. But if I walked in, I'd be like, that thing's cool as shit. And then you guys are like, I guess.
So what are some of the things you're looking at? Like, this is interesting. What are the things that distinguish a good tattoo from a bad tattoo, in your opinion?
And as an apprentice, no matter how you start, line work. Good, solid, consistent line work is the key, because you can reshade, you can recolor for the most part. But if you're drawing a nose and you're like, whoop, well, that's gone.
You got another arm I can borrow?
Yeah, exactly. And people think that lettering, right? Lettering's super easy. Well, not really, because you only have one fucking shot at it. Whoop, whoop, whoop. If you fucking whoopity whoop, you're fucked.
So mom with 2 O's.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it happens. It fucking happens.
Oh, Jet.
I love Moom.
Oh, Jet, that's fantastic.
It's just crazy. So, I mean, it's I don't know. It's just this world. I'm over it. Honestly, I'm fucking over it. I really am. I am. I can't stand people. People are so like, they just. When you used to walk into a tattoo shop back in the day, you didn't walk in and say, I need this and I want, and oh, it's that much? Fuck that. You would have gotten punched square in your mouth. Now, people come in and they're just like, fuck you. I'm going to tell you how it is. And I'm like, this ain't fucking Walmart. Like, you can't, we're not rolling back. Like, this ain't Target. We're not rolling back prices. No, there's no HR in here. There's no HR. I don't have to
complaint department.
Yeah, there's none. It's right here. Go fuck yourself. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Jet, how often do you get customers like that?
All the time.
No, every day?
Not every day. Most people are pretty nice there, but we get a ton of them. The problem is that now everybody lives on social media, and now they can leave bad reviews, and they can be like, he was a fucking asshole to me. I had a guy, he came in, he called me, he told me that he wanted this crazy ass design. I drew it up, and then the day of, when I confirmed him, he said, you know what? I think I want something completely different. And I was like, well, guess what? I don't know what the fuck to tell you because we got to have another appointment. I can't draw that. And he's like, what the fuck? I took off today. And I'm like, I don't make money if I don't go to work. I'm like, yeah, dickhead, eat it
Neither do
alive.
I.
Yeah. I don't make money because now you just changed it. It's like, I want this fucking table with 3 legs. You know what? While you're almost done there, can you put 4 legs on it? Fuck the 3. You know what I mean? It's not going to work.
Do you have to get a deposit before the drawing stage?
Yes, yes, you should definitely get a deposit. I should take more of a deposit sometimes because, if I get $100 on a $500 tattoo, I'd rather do the $500, not just take the 100. You know what I mean? But because it's hard to like book somebody, and half the time I'm like, I don't even call anybody. I'm like, well, looks like I'm gonna get another coffee and draw and just dick around and do whatever. So,
how many tattoos do you typically do a day?
Normally 2 to 3. So, but my schedule is nowadays with Christmas coming up, people reschedule or, people, I've got something going on, work, this. So it's always moving around and stuff like that. So it definitely changes.
And are there days where you're just not feeling it? Like, I don't feel like sitting here drawing.
I'm at that. I think I've just been doing it so long. I'm just like so fed up.
Yeah. Sounds like he's been there for a few years, dog.
Yeah. It's just like, I just don't know. But then I tell everybody, I'm like a stripper. Like, I can't get off the pole and make too much goddamn money. What am I going to do? I'm going to go get a regular job.
There's so many t-shirts from this episode. I can't get off the pole. I can't get off the pole. There's no HR department here. Dick Scorpions.
Yeah, I can't. Amazing. Like, you could go get a regular job, but you're going to be like, this fucking sucks. You got to show up on time. You got to punch a clock. You got to listen to some boss who may have had a bad day or his wife gave him shit. He's taking it out on you. It's just like, fuck this shit. I'm going back to dancing. Fuck this shit. I'm just going to go. I'm going to go have a drink and just scream at somebody when they treat me like shit. It's great. I don't have to
Oh, it's been so funny.
Yeah, I just thought of it.
Eric, dude, tattoo artists are an untapped reservoir of humor, dude.
Honest to Christ, man. Honest.
All right. So, Jet, last question. What would you say to, in the hobbyist community online and Instagram with woodworking, there is this sort of Buddhist sentiment applied to us, which like open and sharing, like a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. Like what's your interpretation of that sentiment from your perspective in the tattoo world?
I mean, I'm with it. I agree. Like, you should definitely share with people, right? Share your knowledge, but you just have to do it with, you got to be careful on what you share and,
and find the right person to share it with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's people out there that that are actually really cool and actually deserve to be in this industry, and I don't mind giving them tips and stuff like that, because even if I tell you how to do something, it's going to take you forever to get.
Yeah, no one's going to be you, Jet. Right? That's the point. It's like, even if they copy one design, let's say they copy one design you did, or you give them some tips, they're not going to be you. They don't see the world like you. They'll never know your next design. Your next design is only achievable by you and no one else.
Sure.
So there's that.
Techniques is what I was saying. Like, if trying to teach somebody techniques, because if you teach them the techniques, then they can do whatever. You know what I mean? If you teach them how to shade good, then they can take that and do other stuff with it. If you teach them how to do good, solid lines off the bat, then that's something that they can take with them and use it down the road. But even if I tell somebody, hey, you should do this, and then they just take it and they're like, and then they do it, and it's like, holy shit. Good for you. You should be tattooing. You know what I mean? Because you picked it up that quick. You're going to have a good career. So, but most people, they're not going to be able to do that shit. Like,
can I also just say, Paul, I know where you're coming from with this statement of like, we kind of have this Buddhist ideology of like, share knowledge, a candle doesn't lose anything, etc. That's not been my experience in cabinet shops. Like, I think that is strictly in the online hobbyist space. And specifically, about finishing techniques. And this is still a thing that exists even in the YouTube community. Like, there's not a lot of finishers putting their shit on YouTube for some reason. Every cabinet
they're
shop
half
I've ever
brain
worked
dead
in,
from all the
well,
fumes.
I mean, don't get me wrong, they are fucked out of their mind 98% of the time. Yeah, for sure. That xylene goes straight up the nostrils. But every cabinet shop I've ever worked in, and I'd be curious to hear from the listeners if other people have different experiences. You can come through the shop, like another business owner comes in, another cabinet maker comes in, a client comes in, whatever it is. You can come through the shop. You can see how shit's getting built. You can see all of the joinery being done, all of the surfaces being prepped. But the finishing room has always been off limits, because whatever happens in that kind of black box of chemistry, the finishers are always the guys who make the magic happens. And so for whatever reason, that's always like, if a piece is done, you're allowed to see it. If it's before finishing, you're allowed to see it. If it's in the process of finishing, nobody sees it outside of the shop.
Really?
Yeah. And
even today.
I mean, listen, it's been 10 years since I've worked full time in a cabinet shop. But even in the last cabinet shop I was working in part time while I was starting the YouTube channel, that was true. Like, we would get pieces in from Nakashima, from the museums. We would refinish Art Carpenter pieces. We would refinish Judy McKee pieces. And that would get a towel thrown over it when people came into the shop, because it was in process of the fit, because that's kind of where that magic happens. So I think, again, coming back to the money aspect, as soon as money enters the equation, that changes the way that people feel about sharing information.
I guess I've been in a bubble, honestly. I've only known the Instagram sort of hobbyist community, and I haven't really seen much of this this professional money world. In fact, my experience has been, when anyone asks me for information, I just share it. Why? Because whatever. They're not gonna look. I don't make a living. I don't make a living.
You don't have 5 to 6 figures riding on that information.
That's right. I don't. Right. I have a job separate from that, and even if I tell them how I do something, the level of complexity and the number of steps in my current pieces is prohibitive for 99% of those people. They're not going to do it anyway. So even if you do share it, them making the same piece would be very difficult. And if they were capable of making the same piece, they probably wouldn't even be asking me for that information, because they probably already have it figured out. Right. You know what I mean? So there's like safety and complexity. I have a job, so I never feel threatened about money. Money's not part of it. And it's just like this sort of like kumbaya, internet, Instagram life. And it's very open, and it's very warm and sharing and welcoming. And yeah, I had not understood or predicted that this conversation today would go the way it has, but I feel like I've learned I've seen a whole new view today by talking to Jet.
Nobody saw Dick Scorpions coming.
Oh God, yeah. I didn't want to see it either. That's why I didn't. Yeah.
All right.
That shit's crazy.
Let me ask one last question before we wrap up. Have you ever been copied? Like copied? Jet, have you seen any of your designs like totally ripped off?
Not necessarily. Nowadays, people are they're making fake profiles so that they can take deposits and stuff like that.
Oh, I see. So they use your art to make a fake thing, and then
they make a fake Instagram. Yeah, I've had people send me, "Oh, look at this. This isn't you. You need this. You need to delete this or report it." So
no shit.
Yeah,
and
people.
And Eric, have you had a piece copied verbatim, or more like inspiration?
Yes, I've had people copy me, but most of the time they've been people who have been like, "Hey, would you mind if I copied this?" And I'm always willing to let them do that, because that's the only way that you learn, is by copying people that you look up to.
And you have a whole new income stream with YouTube, right? You're not, it's very different, I suppose.
Yeah, but even if that wasn't the case, much of my work, or at least the pieces that stand out in my portfolio, a lot of those techniques are done by hand. And so coming back to like the technique perspective of it, even if you try to copy it, your hand's going to work differently than mine does. So by all means, try to copy it, because by the time you're finished with it, it's not going to look like one of my pieces.
Yeah. And Keith, have you had?
Yeah, the same. Like, because some of the things I build, I make plans for, so people can build them. But I've also seen other people, inspired by, I built this piece with only one drawer instead of two, but like straight up ripped off and started selling for profit. No, and you can anything that I put the stuff out there on YouTube for people to look at, absorb, build if you want, give it a try. But, because I'm certainly not gatekeeping my designs, because that's the whole purpose, is showing people the process of how I build, how I design, and then what the end product is. So if you want to try to rip that off and realize it's going to take me 6 weeks to make one of these and try to profit off it, go right ahead. But if I had a specific piece of furniture, like a line of furniture where I had a bedroom set that was all, in the same vein, the same design that I sold, and someone ripped that design straight off and started selling it, then there would be a problem. But no one has.
Like Jet said, if you don't want people to copy you, don't put that shit on the internet.
Yeah. I guess you figure some people have morals, but I guess they don't.
It's double-edged sword.
Foot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At a 10,000 foot view, I guess one of the notes I had written down for today's episode is, are you in an abundance mindset or a scarcity mindset? That tends to be one of the ways we kind of a framework for considering how much we share or don't share. Now, I think this is heavily influenced by money now, right? I was just thinking from a hobbyist point of view, abundance versus a scarcity mindset. You say, well, what are those? An abundance mindset being like, oh, I have no shortage of ideas. If you want to copy my idea, you go ahead, because I'm already 5 ideas down the road. I could give a shit that you copy a design from 5 years ago. You knock yourself out. Like, that has nothing on me. Or the abundance mindset could be, oh, there's so many customers out there. Like, go ahead, make something and, sell it. Even if it's similar to mine, you go ahead. There's more than enough for all of us. Like, there's enough meat on that bone for all of us. That's the abundance mindset. The scarcity mindset is like, there's not enough. I'm trying to survive here. If you copy my technique or copy my design, you're gonna take my customers. And I haven't had a lot of new, I don't have a lot of great ideas come to me all the time. So I have to kind of put a wall around what I do have, because I got to fucking make this work. And I don't mean to color it as like one's good and one's bad, because it kind of came off that way. But I know, but I do. That is a very interesting framework for thinking about this. I think the abundance versus the scarcity, but it's heavily dependent on, now I see hobbyism, or hobbyists versus professionals and money. Is this your full-time thing, or is this just for fun? It's so much easier to have an abundance mindset when your family's not surviving.
Yeah, when it doesn't cost you anything to lose.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. That's where I want to be. I want to get into something so that this is more, it's fun again, and I don't really care. It's but then I'll get, we're in a weird time with tattooing right now. Anybody you ever talk to is definitely not as, I don't know what is going on. And it could be with everything going on in the world. People don't want to spend a lot of money these days. They're trying to hold on to it. Things are super expensive. It's just been real weird, and times have been different for people. So,
Jet, I don't know anything about the tattoo market. Is it down now compared to what it used to be?
Yeah, it is.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And just what percent of, if you just pull 10 people off the street, right, random, how many have a tattoo?
Oh, I mean, the majority of people have tattoos these days. The people that I feel, the people that don't have tattoos are the oddballs now.
Hey, Keith, you and I are oddballs, baby.
Well, we knew that. That has nothing to do with the tattoos. We knew that already.
I think that the amount of people that don't have tattoos to the amount of people that have tattoos have flopped now. You know what I mean? Back in the day, it was different. Now it's flopped where most people have a tattoo, so. But it's just, I don't know. The industry's weird right now. everybody's always
Hmm.
complaining about being slow, not that busy, so it's interesting.
Do you think part of that is there's a lot more tattoo artists?
It could be, yeah. There's just, and that's in Florida, right? Florida is a place where they're on every corner, everywhere, and so generally, Florida is not a good place to work. Arizona was the same way; they were everywhere. When I first moved here,
Really?
it was great because there was only a handful of shops. Now it's just shop after shop after shop after shop, and private studio after
saturated.
private studio. It's way too saturated. So for me, I've been looking into this as like still doing it, but more on the not as a full-time thing. You know what I mean? Full-time in a way. I've got plans for things. I'm just trying to make them all come true. So we'll see what happens.
We're going to gatekeep that for now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
All right,
just,
y'all. Well, go ahead. Yeah.
No, it was just.
Well, I feel like we've had any other lingering points anyone has, or no?
I think that was a strong fight. That was really interesting to hear, like your experience in that field and how it shifted over time, and coming back to the conversation about like guilds and whatnot. Like I think we come from a tradition that has been formalized in a way that tattooing has not, and that's been really interesting to hear how you've navigated that because of that lack of formality.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing that, man. That's super, super interesting.
Jed, it seemed like the Wild Wild West, what you described compared to woodworking.
It definitely is exactly like the Wild Wild West. It's crazy. I mean, and just it's funny because different places and different towns and different mindsets. Like a lot of but there's still when people have a shop and they are living off that and making money off that, they get a little bit like they don't want to teach things because they don't want somebody to open up right next to them and take away from what they have.
I get it. And if what you said is true about it, like especially recently, income's going down and it being saturated, that's even more of an issue, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean,
all right. What I want to know in the after show for the folks who are coming up is the worst tattoo you've ever given Chet. But save it. That's an after show shit.
All right. To get the after show, all you have to do is subscribe to our Patreon. You can find it in the liner notes. Plus, it would support us. We'd appreciate that. And Jet, thank you. Thank you for being on
brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, man. It's good. It's interesting. Your side is interesting. Just listening to all that stuff.
How can people find you if they want more about your to see your tattoos? And
so Instagram is Triad Tattoos, and then it's triadtattoos.com. I have a website as well, and you can just kind of go on there and reach me by email or DM. However, I'm pretty good.
I hope you get someone from this episode, especially someone who's like, I want this.
Well, like
coupon code Scorpion Dick for 10% off.
They can't be upset when I yell at them. I told them straight out. If they come at me with some bullshit, they're gonna get bullshit right back. So that's fine. That's totally fine.
Note
part of the
you've
experience.
Been warned, listeners.
Fucking amazing.
All right, y'all. We'll see you in the after show.
All right, friends. Bye.
All right. Bye, everyone.